Hello, welcome. My name is Ann Denton. I live in Paducah, Kentucky, Quilt City, USA. You see the red and white quilt behind me, and this is another quilt made by Linda Baxter Laszlo, and it was quilted by Sue Patton. It's another one of these wonderful quilts that AQS has. I hope you are enjoying the red quilts mentioned in the book. You'll see in front of me again Ann Hazelwood's first book in the series of the wine country for the Love of Quilts. And if you haven't gotten your book, be sure to check the AQS page. They have a special for the 5 books, and it's never too late to order the books and join us in the conversation. We had a glitch with our system, and we did not receive many of the recipes for salads. And we hope that you all will send in recipes for salads and or grilled cheeses again. And we will have our drawing for our autograph book from Ann next Thursday. Please send in your recipe. You don't have to write it down. You could take a picture of it and send it by your phone. Or just a few words, just the name of your recipe. Let us know and send them in. Thank you. Well, if you're thinking about those first 100 pages and what occurred, you'll know that Lily did buy the inventory from Rosie's antique shop. After Rosie was murdered, she left the first refusal choice to Lily. She really was taken with Lily and liked her very much as a friend and didn't have a lot of close relatives and families, so I think she saw something that maybe Lily would make a good antique dealer. As Lily's going through the inventory in the store, she finds a clown cookie jar up on a shelf with the other collection of cookie jars. When she gets it down, it's very heavy, and she opens the cookie jar and finds tons of cash. And this cash has a note that is saying that the money is for Lily. Her friend Alex, who is helping her with the packing, tells her it's her good fortune. She bought the lot, and she said, no, I need to check and make sure that this is on the up and up. So she calls the attorney. She takes the money to his office with the note explaining how it was found, and he tells her that he will check into it and let her know if she is the rightful owner of the money. The Mark also is helping with the packing, and he seems to be coming around more often. They've gone to a second baseball game, and for her birthday, he sends her some beautiful flowers, red roses, the Cardinals baseball game's color of red. And if you can see over the red and white quilt, my husband gave me roses for Mother's Day, and I hope that you all got some flowers, calls, text, gifts, something for Mother's Day too, and remembered your mothers. In the situation with Rosie's murder, a man confesses and is caught, and he was only trying to scare Rosie and was disappointed that there was only $50 in the cash drawer. As she turned, he meant to shoot and scare her, but he shot and killed her. And there was a woman working in the store sometimes helping Rosie named Melanie. And as you go through the story, perhaps Melanie and this murderer had communicated with each other. And Melanie shows up at the shop and doesn't seem the least bit remorseful. But Lily tells her that if she sees her in the neighborhood, that she will alert all the shop owners that she thinks that she was in suspicious dealings. Carl and her sister Lynn are still having marital problems, and Lily tries to help as much as she can, but you can't get between your sister and her husband regardless of their problems, but just supporting her sister. Bertie, the landlord, is not happy that Lily is moving away, and she becomes more and more distant and not as friendly with Ann. In Lynn and Carl's situation, when Lily is talking to Lynn, and she's saying, will you take Carl back? Would you accept this? And Lynn makes this statement: it takes a strong woman to swallow her pain rather than spit it out. I thought that was an interesting attitude. And you've probably had friends who've had marital problems, and you can't get too involved in it, but you can be a supportive friend. The niece Sarah is having problems. She's not marrying the person that her mother is happy about, and so she wants to come and visit with Lily. But Lily is in the process of getting this inventory, packing it, getting it to where she's going to lease space in a yellow house of a friend, Carrie May, and she's going to store it there and then look for a place to live. When she gets back to the yellow house in Augusta, checking on her inventory, looking at the house, and she's moved everything in, she notices that on the counter is a Rolodex of rosies that she had packed in the bottom of a box, and now it was on top of the counter, and she doesn't know how it got there. Also, there was a tool chest that she had planned to give Mark because he had helped her take some table legs off of a table and doing some things, and said he'd like to work with tools, so she thought that would be a nice thank you gift for him. It also had been in the bottom of a box, and now it was sitting on a countertop. She calls Carrie May and asks her if someone has been in the building, and Carrie May said, no, there aren't any other keys, and she thinks maybe it's Rosie. Maybe the ghost of Rosie is trying to help her out. Why in this world would Rosie be moving a Rolodex and a toolbox on the top of a counter? When Lily goes to visit Alex after a long day of working together packing inventory, Alex makes a grilled cheese, and she mentions that it's his famous grilled cheese. Kirchhoff's Bakery here in Paducah makes a cranberry walnut bread, and it is wonderful sliced to make a grilled cheese sandwich. I've noticed that on some of the cooking shows that some of the cooks are making grilled cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise in lieu of butter. I haven't tried that. If you have a particular wonderful grilled cheese recipe, we would like to hear about it. When Lily starts on the inventory, she finds tons of linens, and she goes through the linens. Most of them are yellow, some have original stickers on them, most of them are dirty. I had an antique booth in different antique stores for many years, and I too collected linens. I have bought some wonderful Irish linen tablecloths, and you can soak them and you can get some of the yellowing out. But most people aren't interested in them because they do have to be starched and ironed, and they're not easy care. And it's very expensive to have the laundries do that. Once when I was in my antique booth, a small, short woman that looked familiar, but I really couldn't place her, was looking at linens, and to my surprise, it was Demi Moore. Her husband, Bruce Willis, was living in Paducah and filming the movie In Country in Mayfield, Kentucky, and she and Bruce were living in Paducah, and she constantly was in all of the antique areas looking for linens for her collection. Do you all collect things like that in antique malls that you like to go to? I love antique malls. You never know when you're going to find a real treasure, and I'm sure that most of the vendors were just like me. We just marked things up according to what we paid for them. We didn't always know the true value of it. Lily mentions that she likes splashers. Now, I don't know what that is. I looked it up, and it looked like a splasher is almost an embroidered piece of material, maybe with the name of a city or a country on it. But if you all know what a splasher is, or if you collect them, please let us know. Send in a picture or tell us about the origins of a splasher. I'm glad to see that some of you have sent in questions to ask Ann Hazelwood, and she will be joining us at the end of the month. And so I hope that you'll have more questions that you will send to the AQS website, and she can answer those for you too. Here are some of the questions that she had. One reader asked, "Ann, can you share how you created the character of Carrie Mae? I just love her, and she's so helpful to you." And Ann Hazelwood replied, "Carrie Mae is the most endearing character in the book. Her name is as real as the description. I can still see her with a cute little bun on top of her head. I used to buy quilts from her when I had a quilt shop. She's now dead, but the whole town of Augusta remembers Carrie Mae. What an icon she was." Another reader asked, "Is there really a yellow house in Augusta?" And Ann said, "Yes. When I knew Augusta was where I was going to focus in setting down in the wine country, I drove around the tiny town in the narrow streets, and I came across this yellow house, the brightest yellow house that I had ever seen. It was unoccupied and just ready for my story. Many visits later, the owner was working outside, and I stopped him and told him about my book and the series. I knew right away that this house could be restored, and I did so in the book." The next question is dark. Lily's friend is in an abusive marriage. What were your thoughts about creating this character? She said, "I get that question asked often. I do have a friend who is in an abusive situation, and I think you all probably have known or have someone who's in that same situation. It was hard to be a friend to a person wanting to tell them what to do, how to get out, how to handle the situation, and not being able to hurt their feelings with telling them what they were doing." And the last question submitted was, "Lily Rosenthal is on a journey to make some big changes in her life. I've been thinking about doing the same thing in my life," says the writer. "What inspired you to give Lily this dilemma?" Ann said, "I know women who've had to put off their dreams in life like Lily did, starting as a writer. I wanted to show that opportunities can happen if you pay attention." Don't forget that Ann will be joining us next end of the month to have this answer more of your questions, so send them in to AQS. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it with your friends by clicking on the buttons below. And for more great videos and quilting content, be sure to like our page and follow us. Next time, read pages 202 to 301. Don't forget to check out our Pinterest page with the cookie jar of a clown where Lily found the money. I constantly will call Lily Ann. Just bear with me. Ann Denton, coming from Paducah, Kentucky, Quilt City, USA.